If there is one thing that I could pinpoint that completely changed my life, that was starting a YouTube channel. And it isn't because of the traditional things that you're thinking about, like growing a massive following or trying to be YouTube famous, because none of that happened. It was because I was findable. You see, I was able to get opportunities like speaking on stages. I got to be flown out to Las Vegas for 6 months straight to work with literal millionaires and create content for them and strategize and interview and meet these icons like Gary Vee, Alex Mosey, Sam Ovens, all because I had a YouTube channel. And I'm not the only one. Think of the greats, the icons, the leaders in the space, Gary Vee and Alex Mosey. How did they start their personal brand? Not from ads, from YouTube. They both started with in a dingy, crappy setup, but they started their journey on YouTube. They didn't have a fancy camera, and they definitely weren't ready to start posting on YouTube. They had a camera, a message, and the courage to press record. And so in this video, I'm gonna walk you through one, why you should start a YouTube channel, and why I'm begging you to start one in 2026, but two, how you can start one without it taking over your life, without it being a full-time job, and do it under 4 hours a week and have it done by 10 a.m. So if you've ever wanted to start a YouTube channel and you said, this is the year I'm finally gonna do it, this is gonna be the video for you. Let's get into it. So before I dive into how you can start a channel, we need to talk about why you should start a YouTube channel. And before you click off, I don't want you to think that I'm going to say the typical things you hear of why you should start a channel, like it's the second largest search engine. And all those things are true. I want to reveal real stories and real examples of how YouTube changed not only my life, but my clients' lives. Like Dan Bolton, who went from being a pastor to a multi-millionaire business coach because the power of content. Now, he didn't start with YouTube. He started with simple posts on Facebook and ads. But when he pivoted his business and started doing YouTube, that's when everything changed. He closed down his agency. He was able to actually get clients without traditional ways like funnels and ads. He simply used YouTube, directed them to an offer, and they bought. And he made over $144,000 every single month in his business. Now, if you want to learn deeper on that strategy, there's a link in the description. You can click on it, check it out for free. But before we get into that, let's talk about the next person, Patrice Moore. She was a copywriter, and we did a simple 7-minute podcast, posted on YouTube, and guess what happened? She got more business in a month than she did an entire year of being a copywriter. Why? Because of YouTube, because the power that video has in attracting and nurturing your ideal audience. She was getting DMs of people who were on the fence who decided to go with her without any questions because of that video. And my last example is Toby Rice. He's a CFI. He teaches people how to become like pilots. And he was struggling for a long time. And we simply had like a strategy call. Wasn't much. He later came to me a year later talking about how that simple call, that simple strategy allowed him to scale to $40,000 per month organically because of the conversations we had. So these are all real stories that are happening quietly because of YouTube. And none of these people had massive audiences. None of these people had fancy cameras like I do. They had a simple camera, a message, and the courage to press record. And this leads me to how you can start YouTube the right way, how you can start YouTube to fuel your business and create the life that you know you deserve, the business that you dreamed of, have clients pre-sold and coming to you. This is how you start the channel the right way. There's 6 simple steps, and I'll walk you through it right now. Oh, I almost forgot. Welcome to the Content Playbook. My name is Kyler Miles, and my mission here is simple, is to make content simple so growth is predictable and freedom is inevitable. I almost forgot. This is a new show, so I want to introduce what it is that you're watching, and if you like this, come back for more. Now, let's get into the 6 tips. So the first step in starting a YouTube channel starts with asking yourself a very simple question, but a very hard question. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to start a YouTube channel? Because in my 7 years experience working with 6 to 7-figure founders, entrepreneurs, coaches, you name it, I've seen every problem under the sun. And the biggest thing I can say, it's not the gear or the time or the strategy that's really stopping you. It's having a compelling and strong why behind you doing it? You see, weak reasons create strong excuses. So the weaker of your why, the harder it's going to be for you to be consistent. And you'll always feel like you're starting and stopping and starting and stopping, or just not starting in general. So you have to understand why you're doing this. Are you doing this to get clients? Are you doing this to build your personal brand, to create leverage, to become the authority in the space so clients chase you? Is this a passion project? Why are you doing this? Because this will dictate every decision you make in the next 5 steps. It will determine what the strategy you take, the thumbnails you create, the content and the ideas, and the type of videos that you want to create, like everything, because of the reason why. Now, if you look back to my life, my reasons changed. In the beginning, 7 years ago, my reason was I wanted to leave my soulless 9-to-5 and I wanted to become a creator, full-time creator. Then when I became a full-time creator, I wanted to be a content director. I wanted to move up the ranks at the company I worked for, become a content director. Then after that, I want to start my business. And so creating content was all about how to start my business. And then I want to scale my business. And now I'm all about freedom and having time to spend with my baby girl. I have a 5-month-old. So every year, every season, my why changes, and that's okay. And it will determine the strategy I take moving forward. And that's why I don't need a massive audience, or I don't need a massive subscribers to reach the goals that I have, because I realize that I can make the amount of money I want to make with 10 people watching. I don't need hundreds of thousands of people or random people to watch, because those 10 people watching buy. So once you have a real deep rooted why, is when the how becomes simple. And this leads me to step number 2. Start before you're ready. I bet you this time last year, you told yourself you were going to start creating on YouTube. You were going to launch your channel. And maybe you did, but probably chances are if you're watching this, you stopped or you didn't start at all. Do you want to wake up a year from today saying the same thing you said last year and the same thing you said last year and the same thing you said the year before that? No, this is the year that you need to start. And the only way to start, the only way to do it is to start before you're ready, is to post. Because the people that you were meant to help, the business and life that you were meant to build, can't happen if you stay hidden. If you do not post online, you won't be able to achieve those goals. And so the boldest thing you can do is to start before you're ready. So here's my advice. Today, after this video, post on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, even on YouTube on the post feature. You're starting your channel. Post it, publicly endorse, and put yourself out there right now, today, so that there's no hesitation. Or the quickest way to overcome hesitation is speed and action. So the minute you stop this video, go and tell the world that you are starting a channel. Have accountability for yourself, because if you're anything like me, when I was trying to get into fitness, get into better shape, not have this dad bod anymore, I knew I needed a coach. Less because I needed to know how to use the gym equipment, but more for the accountability. Because when I had a coach for 6 months, I saw more results because I was consistently going, because I was accountable to him, because I paid him either way if I went or I didn't go, than I did by myself for years. I saw more results in 6 months with him. And yes, of course, I improved my technique and there's a lot of things that coach can do, but my biggest driver was because of the accountability. And so for you to have accountability, posts online, or even I've seen people say they text their friends saying, hey, if I don't do this, I need to pay you $100. Whatever you need to do to hold yourself accountable so that no matter what, rain or shine, you post, do it. Because you will not regret it. The speed at which you can go from the idea to action is how you get results. I've been able to meet countless multimillionaires and Fortune 500 CEOs and global brands. And I met Dan Martell, Gary Vee, and Alex Mosley, all these guys. And I can tell you speed is a fundamental ingredient to their success. It's speed and action. They don't overthink their stuff. They test, they go out, and they do. Doing is how you become someone, is how you become the thing that you want to become, is how to become not a YouTuber, but to have a business driven by YouTube and content. Step number 3 is you need to connect YouTube to the outcomes and not the vanity metrics. And I've seen this time and time again. I also fall for this as well. So don't think I'm above everyone else. We look at the success of our channel and our content in views, comments, subscribers, when if that is not the goal, then why is that the metric of success? Yes, it is an indication that you are doing the right thing, but empty views won't mean anything to your business, to your life, if it's for views' sake. If you want to get views, freaking dance half naked on camera. You'll get views. If you want to get views, use AI to get a baby to do the chicken dance. You will get views, but they will be empty views and they won't amount to anything for your life and your business. And so pick one primary goal. Is it clients? Is it building your personal brand? Is it becoming the authority? Is it more leverage? Is it more time? Pick one goal for this year with your channel and make that the foundation of your success. For me, I can't control the views, but I can control the outputs that get views. And so I don't look at success whether I have views or don't have views. My success is how many DM conversations am I getting? How many people are telling me my videos are changing their life? I mean, I got this note from one of my videos, from one of my talks I give. Someone gave me this note, and I'll summarize it. It changed their whole perspective and helped them to understand why they need to start creating content. This is how I measure my success, not by the views, not by the engagement, not by the subscriber count, that. And so whatever that is for you, you have to tie it with the outcomes that you want. Because YouTube isn't about being famous, it's about being found. How I was able to work with School.com and being flown out and paid to work with all their school game winners, which is like a competition of people who compete to make the most amount of money in a month, and the winners get flown to Las Vegas. My job that they hired me to do and flew me out for was to document their journey, interview them, work with them, create content with them. How I got that was because of my YouTube content. Now, if you look at my channel, I don't have a ton of subscribers, I don't get a ton of views, but I was found by the right person. That's the power of YouTube. 10 views of the right people can make a massive impact than thousands of the wrong people. So don't focus on the vanity metrics. Focus on the outcomes that you want behind your why. All right, step number 4, very important. Don't pick a niche, pick a problem. Here's why. Niches put you in a box. So if you think about a box, the fitness, let's call this like the fitness niche. What can you talk about in the fitness niche? Fitness, maybe diets, maybe, I don't know, fitness workouts, home workouts. You're limited to what you could talk about when you're in a niche. But when you expand that to a problem, you're not in a box. You are actually addressing the entire market. Because here's the thing, me as a creatorpreneur, a YouTube business owner, I want to improve my health, but a financial person or a business coach or a SaaS founder all want to improve their health. And so the problem that all of us have, that all of us share, is that we don't feel like we have enough time to go to the gym, or we don't have time to eat better. So when you focus on a problem, you're able to tap into different markets. And so it's not about niching down. Like, you hear this idea of becoming the niche, and I agree with that to a degree. I've said in the past, like, you should become the niche. What I'm actually realizing through my own experience is that you should actually talk about a problem. Pick a problem that you want to solve. So the problem that this channel solves is to make content simple. Because here's the thing. Everyone understands the power of content, how it is content creation is wealth creation in 2026, how it can move mountains and create opportunities that money can't buy. But the problem is people are stuck knowing what to create, how to create it, what type of content, short form, long form, am I going to be cringe? What's the tech setup look like? What's the equipment like? All these issues, these friction points, these blockers, stopping them from creating content, which is the thing that will move the needle in their business. And so this show is simple. We aim to make content simple. So growth is predictable and freedom is inevitable. Very simple. Now, because I'm solving a problem, I can talk about an enormous amount of things. I can talk about habits and mindsets and strategies and funnels and frameworks, and I could do day in the life content as long as it's about solving that problem. So I'm able to tap into different markets and have unlimited content because I'm picking a problem, not a niche. Before I move on to the next one, you're probably thinking, well, Kyler, I'm not an expert. I don't know if I can talk about this problem. Let me address this right now. You don't have to be an expert to solve a problem, or to talk about a problem. If you've solved it yourself, and if you've actually experienced the problem, then you can talk about it. So as an example, on this channel, I don't talk about growing massive teams. Like I have a team, but I don't have a massive team because I've never experienced that problem. I'm someone who is a solopreneur. I don't strive to have a 1,000-person business. So I don't make content around that because I haven't lived that experience, nor do I want to. So you see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense for me to talk about that, but let's look at the problem I do solve. For the last 7 years, I've been helping entrepreneurs create content. So I know what friction points and barriers stopping people from creating content. So I'm able to talk and speak to, from my own experience, how you can make content simple so that growth is predictable and freedom is inevitable. You don't have to have expertise because trust is built through clarity and not through credentials. Right? If I said here, I have a degree in marketing, I have a degree in video production, but I can't articulate or not clear on the problems that you have, it doesn't matter about the credentials. What matters is that you and I are clear on the same page, you resonate with the problem that I'm speaking. And that's why you resonate with my videos, and that's why you resonate with this channel, and that's why you're here. So pick a problem. Don't pick a niche. Step number 5 in starting a YouTube channel in 2026 is you need to build a habit, not a content plan. So oftentimes I see on Instagram or TikTok or even LinkedIn, people are creating these content plans, these content calendars. And I find it so idiotic. And I did this, by the way, right? I fell for this. I created my own content calendar, 7-figure content calendar, and marketed it as a lead magnet. And so I understand this. I fell for this trap as well, but I never was able to stick to a content calendar. The only thing that really, really worked for me, and what I've seen worked for dozens of my clients, is a habit, is a schedule. Because think about this. If you had a meeting on your schedule, would you miss that meeting? No. It's on your schedule. You don't want to create a content calendar. What you want to create is a habit, is a schedule for yourself to create content. That would look like maybe every single day for an hour a day, you chip away coming up with the idea, then planning the idea, then recording the idea, then editing, then publishing it, right? Or some people like to do it in one batch, right? In one batch, they go start to finish. Whatever that looks like for you, you need to create your schedule, your habits of when you're going to do it. If you think back to Atomic Habits, habits start small. So you don't think of I'm going to make a YouTube video every single day. There's a lot that goes into it, right? Start small. Start with I'm going to write down ideas of content every single day. And then I'm going to script out those videos for a week. We all work differently. So you have to figure out what your kind of system and schedule is. But looking at your week and where can you devote 2 to 4 hours every single week to creating YouTube content, to creating an asset that lives on the internet, that helps you to advertise what you do and to build trust at scale 24/7, 365. It is a marketer and a salesperson in a video. It is a digital marketing asset. Discipline beats inspiration every single time. So the more disciplined you can be at this habit, the more likely you're going to be consistent. I've seen this time and time again, that people who win aren't the most talented, they're most consistent. Probably heard this before from dozens of sports movies and athletes and entrepreneurs, but it's true. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be the most consistent. Now, step number 5, I should say, is the problem with being consistent is that there's a lot of frictions and barriers stopping you from creating the content. As I said earlier, right? My goal here is to make content simple. And so this step is all about how to remove the barriers so creating content is effortless. When it comes to creating YouTube content, if you have to set up a camera, set up a light, plug in, the mics every single time, those are friction points stopping you from creating the content. And so what you want to do is that you want to create systems or setups that allow you to create content instantly. So if you look at my setup, I can take some BTS right now with my phone. Right now I have a light, I have a camera, I have my notes on the side, and I have this, and I have a little candle. And so all I have to do is simply turn on the light, turn on the camera, press record, and I'm ready to create content. This took me a while to set up. And before I had even more crazy stuff. I had a boom mic, a mic over my head that faced down, a camera facing down, and all these bells and whistles, but it just got in the way. So it doesn't have to be perfect. What you need is just a simple, easy setup. And this could be your phone. This could be, teleprompter. It could be whatever it is that you need to create content. Don't focus on perfection. Focus on progress. If you read the Atomic Habits book, when you have progress, you get dopamine and you feel good and you get momentum. And that's the key to being consistent, is creating that dopamine, creating that progress, like leveling up in a video game. Don't focus on complex editing. Don't make it about fancy gear. Don't overthink like the titles and the thumbnails, like all that will come. Whatever is easiest to go from idea to publish, that's what you need to do. If that means you're not scripting a video, don't script a video. That means you don't edit a video, don't edit a video. A lot of this video is mostly unedited. Like there are editing points, but a lot of this is like more raw and natural. And I have notes just to like support, so I'm not going too much off in a tangent. But you need to remove the friction so posting becomes effortless. Setup is a great way of doing it, having the set schedule and also eliminating editing. So if that's of interest, if you want my gear list, I have a list of gear to help you have no editing. You don't need to edit. There's a link in the description. You can check that out. You can download it absolutely for free. It's my gear list that I use for podcasts, for clients, for desk setups like this. So check that out and that'll help you to overcome some of these frictions. So in order for you to be consistent and to build this habit, you need to remove the friction from creating content. And this is step number 6. The simplest thing that I could say is that the things stopping you from creating content, like strategy, production, which is all this, setup, gear, all those things, you can eliminate everything and start with your iPhone. There's no reason why you can't selfie it with a tripod. You don't need lights, you don't need a mic, and you can start creating content. So you can remove editing, you can remove the bells and whistles, and you can start creating. There's no reason why you can't start creating content. There's so many examples, like I shared earlier, of entrepreneurs who didn't have fancy setups, didn't have the crazy mics and lights and all these, and Alex Hormozi and Gary Vee, they didn't start with anything fancy. They started with what they had. Remove the barriers, remove the idea that it needs to be edited, that it needs to be polished, that it needs to be perfect. It is not going to be perfect. What you need is the least amount of friction to go from idea to publish. And most of the time, that is this. And so my recommendation is set up a tripod with your iPhone and press record. You can improve every single video and improve your script, your titles, your packaging, improve slowly. But for you to start, you just need to press record. Now, if you are someone that does want to have a little bit of a higher level setup, I have a gear list that you can download absolutely for free. It gives you all the best up-to-date gear that you can buy to making content effortless, right? So in my setup, as you can see, I have a light, I have a camera, I have a teleprompter, I have some notes, I have a mic, and all I have to do is turn on a light, turn the camera, and press record, and I'm able to create content. And that is done intentionally because I don't want any friction when it comes to creating content. And so this is the thing that stops so many entrepreneurs from starting. And I guarantee that if you do all the steps I just said, all the 5 steps, but then you don't do this step, you are not going to be consistent. You need to remove friction from content. And that's what this show is all about. So if you found this valuable, comment what was the most valuable. What step is the most valuable step for you? I'd love your feedback. Love to get what you enjoy about this podcast. And for more tips and tricks, just come follow me. I'm on all the different platforms, but mainly I'm going to be posting on here the content playbook. So thank you guys so much. I really enjoy our time together, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.